So, hi everybody. We have a super fun topic today. We're going to be talking about MSC Cruise Line and a little bit about the differences between taking a cruise here out of the US ports versus taking a cruise out of the European or other ports, Mediterranean ports. So I know everybody's seen the commercial with Drew Barrymore and Orlando Bloom, where they're going around the ship and he's pointing out all the things that appeal to the Europeans, and she's pointing out all the things that appeal to the Americans. So it really is a really fun product in Europe and also here, just because of those differences. So we have with us Cassidy Davis, who is our business development manager for MSC, and she's going to be walking us through the MSC product line as it appeals to the Americans and European markets. And also, I have been, fortunately for myself, I have been on both a cruise out of Florida and couple cruises out of Europe, one out of Marseille and one out of Venice. So, I'm going to talk about my personal experience on MSC as it relates to sailing in the European market. So, thank you, Cassidy.
Thank you, Julie. Hello, everyone, or I should say, bonjour, ciao. Thank you for joining today's webinar. As Julie just mentioned, I'm excited to chat with you about the European style. So the commercial that Julie just mentioned, the Orlando Bloom and Drew Barrymore, one phrase that you hear them mention often is European style and American comfort. And of course, our tagline of Let's Holiday. They all kind of speak to the European heritage of our cruise line, if you will. Uh, MSC was started in Italy, and uh, many of you know MSC as the container shipping brand. That is kind of how the company got its start. So over 100 years ago, MSC, which stands for the Mediterranean Shipping Company, started as a shipping container business. And then about 50 years ago, we had an offshoot of the MSC Cruise Line, which is obviously the brand that we're here talking to you all about today. So for MSC, we have 26 ships in deployment, and of those 26 ships, six are here based in the US, but the other 20 are all abroad. So it is many different ports and destinations that you can choose to sail from. Many of those are based in Europe, throughout the Mediterranean, and there are really great opportunities to take shorter cruises or even longer sailings. The longer sailings are called our grand voyages sailings. And there's just a lot of opportunity for you all to experience different itineraries and countries. So, talking a little bit more about why MSC, why you hear so much of there being European comparisons and descriptions and talking about our brand. So MSC was founded in 1970 by the Aponte family, and now we are headquartered in Geneva, Switzerland, and have a global team of over 200,000 employees. So you can see the heavy European presence just in how our brand began and how it is operated today. And some fun facts about MSC is that we are the world's biggest privately owned cruise line. And we're the leading cruise line in Europe, in South America, South Africa, as well as the Gulf.
Cassidy, real quick, I don't know if you can hit your full screen button because that will make it a little easier to see your slides there.
Hang on a second. Is it full screen for you all
Ah,
now?
looks great. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Apologies for that. I have two screens going and okay. So often get questions about, who makes the best MSC guest and what makes them a good fit for MSC. And for us, we call it the curious or culture curious traveler. So these are really people who like to try new things. They have a genuine interest for other cultures, other nationalities. On board here are US ships, very diverse from a nationality standpoint of our guests and also of our ships abroad that sail in Europe. From an age standpoint, we have seen a huge uptick in multi-generational cruising. So that is baby boomers that are choosing to vacation and travel with maybe their Gen X kids, and then also bringing along their grandkids because we really have things on board that speak to all of these guests. So from kids clubs to a wide range of restaurants and bars and shows. The curious slash culture curious traveler is who we mostly speak to.
Yep, and I would have to say I agree. Having sailed both in out of Florida and out of Europe, I found the same mix of people, which was a great mix of people. There were families, there were plenty of kids, there were young couples, there were older couples. We actually brought our kids both times, and there was plenty of people their ages. The kids camp were great. So I think as far as passenger mix, you're going to find it really equal between here and there.
Speaking a little bit about our partnerships. So one thing that I think is really cool about MSC partnerships is that we tend to utilize global partners, meaning partners that everyone knows around the world. Partners like Lego, you can find those on our ships both here and abroad. Vinci Gelato, which is, classic, gotta have a gelato venue for an Italian-based cruise line. Jean Philippe, which is our chocolate shops on board. You find those both here and abroad. And Italy, we have the only Italy's at sea on board many of our ships. And then, of course, we have partnerships with Formula One and many sports-based teams here in the US and abroad. So, speaking of those global partnerships, here in the US, you see a lot of the NBA and NFL partnerships, but abroad, we have many partnerships with football, European football, soccer as we know it here in the US. And we actually just announced that all of our ships across the entire fleet will be showing the World Cup this year. So speaking to that diverse customer base that I mentioned earlier and that Julie spoke to, that was something that was really important for our guests to still be able to take in that experience. So on our ships, you'll be able to watch the World Cup in its entirety. And speaking of some of our destinations, so this just gives you an example of kind of right now. So winter 2025 into winter 2026, where we sail. We have ships in the Mediterranean, Western Med, as well as the Northern Med, also the Canary Islands. You know, from the US, we obviously speak a lot about MSC to the Caribbean and to the Bahamas and to Alaska in just 2 months. Shameless plug. But I really love this map because I think it gives you a true visual of just how vast our deployments are. And, these ships move around throughout the year. So if there's a ship that you love, if it was the MSC Euribia doing the Middle East, this summer, it may move to the Mediterranean. We also offer a world cruise. So if you have a spare, few months that you would like to experience a world cruise, we have the 2028 World Cruise now open. And that's really just a fantastic experience that I would consider kind of once in a lifetime. And then similarly, winter 2026 into 2027, we have a lot of opportunity, Northern Europe, Eastern Med, Western Med. So to give you kind of an idea from a Western Mediterranean standpoint, now through 2027, we'll have 8 ships. The Eastern Med will have 5 ships, and then Northern Med will have 4 ships. So 17 ships will be based around Europe, and there will be ships of really different types. So we'll have smaller ships that are used more to get into, areas that are tighter nooks and crannies, but we'll also have brand new ships and new hardware that will be debuting from the Mediterranean. One of those being the MSC World Asia. So the name is a little bit of a misnomer because her first few seasons will actually be based in the Mediterranean, but many of her spaces on board really speak to Asian design, Asian culinary ideas. But the World Asia, which will be our newest product that debuts this year, will debut from the Mediterranean. Also, we have the MSC World Europa, which is the third newest ship in the fleet that obviously its name is not a misnomer. It is based in Europe pretty much year round. So for those of you that are familiar with the commercials that Julie mentioned or the MSC World America that sails here from the US, those two ships, the World Asia as well as the World Europa, are her sister ships, and they're pretty much identical in size and feel and the features that you'll find on board. So, talking about the Caribbean and the Bahamas, we've got that covered here from the US. We have 4 to 8 ships that go to any one of these destinations pretty much year round from Port Canaveral, from Miami, or from Galveston, Texas. Galveston is new for us. We've only been sailing from there for about 4 months, so we continue to add different embarkation ports. The Canary Islands and Madeira. This is always a popular itinerary for us too. For those of you who say, hey, I've done the Caribbean and the Bahamas many times. I like islands. I like the tropics. This may be an itinerary that you'd like to try. And then, of course, as I mentioned, our sailings to Northern Europe. So we have 4 ships. And looking at the list of these ships, the Eurybia, the Poesia, Preziosa, and Virtuosa, they vary in size and they vary in age as well. The Eurybia being relatively new within the last 4 years. The MSC Poesia, which is the ship that will eventually make its way to Alaska, is going under dry dock in just a couple of months so that she will have the MSC Yacht Club, which I'll touch on in just a bit, added to it. But these ships will be sailing to Northern Europe and an opportunity for you all to check out some of these itineraries. You can see the embarkation ports that are there: Southampton, Kiel, Hamburg, and there's a photo there of a stop near Norway. So lots of opportunity and beautiful views. I was just telling Julie, I have not done one of our European sailings yet, but just looking at that photo, Northern Europe is definitely on my bucket list. Believe I have a short video for you here to share with you just some of the Northern Europe destinations. And before moving to the next slide, I wanted to touch on one of the things that we saw in the video there, and that was some of the entertainment on board our European sailings and offerings. So many of our the shipboard programming is often customized to the areas that we sail to and even to the demographics of the guests on board. So, to give you an idea, the MSC World America that sails here from Miami was the first ship that we debuted Queen Symphonic. So those of you familiar with the band Queen and Dirty Dancing from the hit movie. But in Europe, many of the shows and offerings that you'll find will speak to the destinations. So Julie was telling me that in the time that she sailed, she found many performances of operas. There are a lot of song and dance, theater style shows and entertainment. So we really cater the entertainment to the area that we sail to, and even some of the experiences that you find in those different countries. And a common question that I get is it true that MSC does announcements in, 47 different languages? No, that's not true. But it is true that we may cater and change the announcements to the demographics of that particular sailing. So if there are many American guests, obviously the announcements would be in English, or sometimes you'll hear, multiple, maybe two or three different versions of announcements. So just a fun fact, if that is a question that you hear about MSC. And similar to the US, for our sailings in Europe, MSC sails what we call experiences. And these experiences fall under one of three different categories, and that is Bella, Fantastica, or Aria. So to kind of start with the middle point there, Fantastica is a stateroom experience that comes with a few different perks. Number one, you get the ability to, if you need to change your cruise, there's the ability, the flexibility to do so with the Fantastica experience. You also have the ability to choose your stateroom. There are some room service perks that also come with the Fantastica experience. A little bit of flexibility just in planning as well as onboard offerings. My personal favorite is the Aria stateroom or the Aria experience. And that is because Aria comes with a 1 hour daily pass to experience our Aria spa. So the thermal spa, and that includes our sauna, steam room, snow room, jacuzzis, whirlpools, salt baths, zero gravity chairs. Really, the different items inside the thermal spa differ by ship. But if you know that you want to sail from a relaxation standpoint, and honestly, who doesn't? And you want to take advantage of the spa, an Aria stateroom type would work well for you. It also comes with priority spa service appointments, as well as spa discounts and just some spa amenities that come inside your cabin. Another really nice perk with Aria is that they have their own dining room. So Aria guests have their own dining room, and they can choose to dine whenever they would like, as opposed to being assigned the traditional early or late dining. And this is programming that's across our entire fleet, not just the ships that sail here from the US. And Bella is an opportunity. It is usually our lowest rate. It doesn't have the flexibility of being able to change your cruise if you need to, or to be able to choose your own cabin. So there are a bit of limitations. And I think that you'll find when you are working with Julie and her team that the price difference between Bella and Fantastica is usually very nominal. So um, in my opinion, at least Fantastica is the way to go. And I talked a little bit about the MSC Yacht Club, and thankfully for us, the MSC Yacht Club is a global experience. It is on 18 of the 25 ships that we have sailing around the world. And for those of you who may not be aware, our yacht club is our ship within a ship experience. So if you really want an elevated service experience, or let's say you want to sail, I talked about the multi-generational families that sail. You want to sail, but you want a quieter, smaller atmosphere of passengers around you. To give you an idea of scale, on the MSC World America, the yacht club holds about 300 passengers on a ship that has 6,800 passengers. So that's a very small number of passengers that you would be around. And yacht club guests get a yacht club bracelet that gives them exclusive access to their own pool, their own lounge area, their own sun deck. They have their own restaurant. You know what? People have sailed in yacht club and have told me, look, I had a yacht club cabin and I didn't even venture into the rest of the ship. I relaxed the entire week and stayed in yacht club. And while that is certainly not required, it is built to be fully functional, fully prepared with all the services that you can need, including your own private butler. And I have a short video here to give you kind of a visual of the yacht club space. I don't know if you all can hear the sound of the video as it's playing, but there is no talking. It's just classical music in the background. So just wanted to let you all know that.
On MSC Cruises, there is a place of true exclusivity. MSC Yacht Club, a private sanctuary within the ship, where your butler will turn your every need into his priority, where you can sit back, relax, and be catered to, unwind, celebrate, delight in fine dining, always enjoy the best seats in the house. An elevated experience awaits you on a vacation that's a step above. MSC Yacht Club. Welcome to a world of privacy and luxury.
Like I said, the nice thing about Yacht Club is that it is on almost all of our ships and every itinerary. So if it's a service level or a service experience that you would like, it is accessible on pretty much throughout all of our product. And what I mentioned, the private butler, I like to tell people that the Yacht Club experience really starts before you even set sail because the private butler meets you down in the terminal, assist you in bringing your luggage and escorting you to your suite for the week. There is a private gourmet restaurant, the Top Sail Lounge, an exclusive pool, very nice suites, access to the Ocean House at Ocean Cay Marine Reserve. But from a global standpoint, another thing that I don't think we talk up enough is that Yacht Club also has access to exclusive shore excursions. And this extends to all sailings and itineraries. So if you choose a European or a Mediterranean sailing, there are yacht club exclusive shore excursions and tours that you may be able to take advantage of. And it also includes, transfer services to and from wherever your tour may be, and also complimentary drinks packages and Wi-Fi. Julie, have you been in yacht club before?
I have been in Yacht Club and it's amazing. The one thing I wanted to add about Yacht Club is I think you're the only cruise line that I know that has like a variety of cabins in your Yacht Club. So based on your budget, you could take even an inside cabin, believe it or not, in Yacht Club all the way up to
Yeah.
the biggest suite. But I will tell you, I've been fortunate to sail in suites on a lot of different cruise lines, and the butlers on MSC pamper you like none other. I've really never had such a more attentive Butler, and we did do a multi-generational cruise in the yacht club. We took our
Yeah.
grandmother who was 98 years old with along with all the
Oh, wow.
grandkids, and
Yeah.
it was just a really a great experience. So
Very nice.
definitely
Yeah.
spoils you.
It does. It does. But everyone says that once you do the yacht club once, you can't go back to quote unquote regular. And I'm sure that that is true. Another nice perk is that yacht club guests get wristbands that give them, of course, access to the yacht club exclusive areas. But there are certain elevators around the ship that access the yacht club, and the wristband gives you an express ride. So if you step into the elevator, scan your wristband, and you are a yacht club guest, it drops you off at your floor first. So someone asked me, how does that go over with everyone else? And I think people just understand that, people pay for the yacht club experience. So it's a nice perk. I have another just short video of some Eastern Mediterranean destinations that I wanted to share with you all. So I will play the video here now.
Just gonna mention, since there's no sound, that I did take the Eastern Mediterranean cruise when I was on MSC, and what you said about the diversity of the entertainment was definitely true. That is the one thing that we loved. It's like we had such every night I felt like we visited a different country in the theater. And even the music that they played up in the pool decks, they would intermix, American pop music with pop music from Spain. So like what I was telling you earlier, Cassidy, if you want to feel like you've never left Europe, it's you have the Europe experience on the ship as well as when you're visiting in the ports, because it's such a diverse crowd and everything about the entertainment is diverse as well.
Nice. Yeah, that is that's feedback that I've heard from others who have experienced these sailings as well. And another thing that Julie and I were chatting about is that our itineraries that are throughout the Mediterranean and Europe are a little bit unique in that we allow you to kind of join the ship and leave as you would like. So essentially, you can book if it's a 14-day sailing. However, you want to stop at the port on the ninth day, you'll often find that we have packages that allow you to purchase just days 1 through 9 of that itinerary instead of being required to do the full closed loop, which is nice. Maybe you have an opportunity to see a port of call that you want to spend a little more time in, so you don't have to go back to the port that you originated from. It's a really great option that a lot of people will take advantage of for our Europe Mediterranean sailings.
Yes, and we did take advantage of it. When we took our second cruise, the cruise officially started in Barcelona, but you could get on and off really in almost every port. So we ended up boarding the ship in Marseille because we wanted to fly into Paris and spend some time there. And we took the train down to Marseille and joined the ship there, and then continued the rest of the route. So it really can, depending on where you want to do your pre and post stays, it has some unique places where you can start in your cruise.
Nice. I think that that's a perk that a lot of people really like. People like to customize their experience, and it allows them to do that. So, just to talk to you about a few of the food venues that you find on board ships that sail abroad. It's very similar to many of the ones that we have here. One is Luna Park Pizza and Burger. So that will be on the MSC World Asia, the new ship that debuts this year that will sail from the Mediterranean. And this is a complimentary dining option that is open late night. Here it's open up until 2 a.m. and you can get pizza, burgers, chicken wings, a lot of finger foods, classic American favorites. So it's nice that we have this option throughout the fleet. Also, main dining restaurants. So I mentioned that clients that sail Bella or Fantastica are assigned an early or late dining based on their preference, and their dining would be based in one of these main dining restaurants that you see here. The Skyline restaurant. This is not the exact restaurant that Aria guests sail or that Aria guests dine in on the MSC World America, but it's very similar to it. So remember, I mentioned that Aria guests are able to dine when they would like on your time dining. The venue that they have looks similar to this. Then, of course, we have Marketplace Buffet on all of our ships. This is another version of the buffet. On World America, the buffet spans 2 different decks, and similarly, it will do the same on World Asia. So that's why we have 2 different buffets. And then sweet treats, Vinci Gelato. We would not be doing right by our Italian roots if we did not offer some really good gelato on board. You'll find this shop on almost all of our ships in the fleet. So here you can get gelato. You could also get coffee on some of our ships, from this venue. If you get the chance, the stracciatella is my absolute favorite, but there's tons of really good flavors of gelato here. And it is a really great treat if you're able to take advantage. Sweet Temptations is a candy slash milkshake slash bakery, and this venue will be on the MSC World Asia. And then Jean Philippe, chocolate and coffee. So this is a partnership, also one of those that I mentioned, kind of the global partnership that's across the fleet. There are many different types of chocolate. There's chocolate made fresh daily. There's fudge made in the shop. And it also just serves as an eatery and a lounging space throughout the day as well. And then from a specialty dining standpoint, we have many different specialty dining options that are available. So there are specialty dining packages that we have really honed in on to make the most sense for what guests want on board. So you can work with Julie's team. If you know that you'll take advantage of specialty dining, you can pre-purchase packages that are two, three, four. We just rolled out five different venues that you may want to take advantage of. So they can work with you to select the venues as well as the dining times, which is new for us. So before you sail, you can select your dining time as well. And for specialty dining, you'll find options like Ola, Tacos, and Cantina. So it's kind of a Tex-Mex style venue, and it's on almost all of the ships in our fleet. And this is what it looks like on the MSC Seashore. Butcher's Cut is our steakhouse, also on board the majority of ships in the fleet, and it's an American style steakhouse. Uh, Also, wanted to call out if you were sailing with friends and family in a group, which is at least 8 cabins for us. But if you're sailing with friends and family, we also now offer the opportunity for you to have group reservations. We didn't have that before, so if you want to experience specialty dining with just more and the party that you're sailing with, you have the ability to turn it into a real community gathering. And that's something that Julie and team can assist you with. This is another example of Butcher's Cut Steakhouse. And then the Ocean Key Seafood Restaurant. And Kaito Teppanyaki. So this is one of my favorites because it is kind of a teppanyaki slash hibachi style venue, and it is it's very social. It's a very social experience because you may be seated around a really big table with other parties, and then of course the chef both entertains as he prepares your meal. And this is an experience that is on many of the ships in the fleet throughout the world. This is another view of that dining venue. And then the Kaito Sushi Bar is usually kind of adjacent to the teppanyaki spot. You can't see it in this photo, but a really cool thing is that those little bubbles of food that you see there sitting on top of the bar, they're actually sitting on a conveyor belt. So if you see a sushi dish pass by that you think looks like an interesting treat to try, you can just grab it off of the conveyor belt and add it to your meal. So it's kind of a fun dining experience to have. And then bars and lounges. We have no shortage of bars and lounges throughout the fleet. This is an example of one, the Uptown Lounge, the Loft Cafe, a very cool spot. It has mid-century modern kind of vibe, and we use this for just lounging during the day, but also it's a popular entertainment spot at night. So you'll see a lot of duos and trio musical performances that happen from this cafe. And then the Gin Project. And speaking to, that European style that we spoke about, Masters of the Sea Brewery and Pub is a really cool spot. As you can tell, it looks very similar to any type of pub that you would see in the UK. And I don't know if this photo shows it very well, but back behind those gigantic windows, we actually brew our own beer using ocean water, which is a cool process. Common question that I get at this point is it salty? No, it's not. It goes through a process that removes the salt, but it is a kind of cool process to consider that it's made from ocean water. And then All Star Sports Bar, commonly across the fleet. This is would be one of those spots that we would show things like the World Cup. Speaking to kind of the diversity in the programming on board, it really extends to sports as well. One time I remember sailing and it was a Sunday during football season, which of course most bars across America, if you look around, you would see all US football, but that day there was a one of the tennis Grand Slams was on. So one TV had tennis, one TV had a soccer game. There was American football, but it really just spoke to kind of what Julie was mentioning in, us having that diverse customer base across all of our fleet, and that's what you can experience on pretty much all of our ships. Even the Coffee Emporium is it's global themed in that you can try coffees from around the world. There's Moroccan coffee, coffees from Greece, Italy, France. This is also one of my favorite spots. And similarly to what you can find in the US, we offer drink packages. We simplified it so you either will have a non-alcoholic drink package or a drink package that includes alcohol. And that drink package will let you try drinks up to $16, and it includes the overwhelming majority of drinks across the fleet. So if you wanted to try out a drink from any of the bars that we talked about, or even the coffee shop, that is available through the drink packages. The Fizz Champagne Bar. And one thing that I think is very important to share with you is a program that we have called Status Match. So if you are a cruiser and you have gained loyalty points or loyalty status on another cruise line, MSC will match it into our Voyagers Club loyalty program. So it is an easy submission. Julie and team can assist you, and you share with MSC the status that you have at Carnival or Princess or Royal Caribbean, and we would match you to whatever our closest equivalent level is. And that's where you would start at MSC. Someone asked me, oh, is it a one-time deal where if the sailing that I'm on, I get to try out the higher level and then I go back down? No, that's where you start. And the only thing that you need to keep your status active with MSC is that you sail once every 5 years. I hope you sail more than that, but that's the only requirement. And it's a really good perk for you to try. So we'll match cruise lines, hotel chains, even if you have status at maybe a resort partner, we would also match that. And I won't read through all of these, but just to kind of give you an example of some of the perks that are available, um, looking at the gold level. So the gold level includes everything before it. So 5% discount on your cruise, a $50 onboard credit. You do get the 1 hour complimentary thermal spa session, early access to theater shows. There's really a lot of great perks that come with the Voyagers Club. So if you are able to status match, please do so. But even if you just start at the classic level, it's not hard to go up in levels the more that you sail with us.
Right. We might have some questions, I see, but I thought I would talk a little bit about my experience in sailing in Europe in case anybody has more questions about that. I'm going to start with things that surprised me because maybe they would surprise others. Number one, as I said, this ship is such a big melting pot. So Americans were not the primary passengers in Europe. There were more Europeans than Americans. I didn't think that was a negative thing. Actually, it was a really fun, diverse crowd for my kids. Like they ended up meeting children from all over the world, which was amazing. Number two, the announcements are multilingual, as mentioned by Cassidy earlier. But when you sail in Europe, English isn't the first one. So that was kind of different for us because we're used to English being the primary language. Of course, they did make all the announcements, however, in English, and they, of course, did have English menus at the dining rooms. So, and many of the staff spoke English. Like we had no communication problems. So, just so in case people are wondering, like, well, I'm not fitting because I don't speak, a foreign language. Certainly, we don't speak any foreign languages, and we did perfect. Food, I brought children. My daughter was 9. So sometimes people wonder, like, oh no, what is the food like? No problem with food at all. The buffet was serving hamburgers and hot dogs, pizza. There was great Italian dishes. Like honestly didn't eat the hamburgers, hot dogs, but there was great Italian dishes. But there was like such a diversity of food. Like there was no problem whatsoever, just not being on a ship that was, catered more to the American palate. And like I said, the shows also were fantastic because there was such a diversity in the entertainment. We went to an Italian opera one night. Then the next night they had this like whole Italian show where all the audience that were Italian were like singing these party songs, super fun. So it is definitely a different experience than being like, for example, on a American flag vessel where everybody's going to be, American. When you come back to the ship and you're in Europe and you're on one of those American flag vessels, it's kind of just like being back in America again. This is not the whole European experience carries right on through to the ship, which is a really unique experience. So it's great for people who really want to immerse themselves in the destination. Also, just as a warning, and not really a warning, but just so you know, the ship's currency is actually euro when you're sailing out of Europe instead of American US dollars. So that's good to know. And also, I think, once again, the diversity with getting on and getting off in different ports is super fun too to help you customize your vacation. But there is a few questions for you, Cassidy.
Okay.
Um, Perfect. Let me just look through these. So basically, we have a question about if MSC is going to be doing any South Pacific sailings from Hawaii or the West Coast. I don't know if you have that on your itinerary page yet.
We do not, but Patrick, that is one of my hopes as well. I do feel like, at least here from the North American departure standpoint, that we're kind of working our way west, with the Galveston, Texas home port being added last year, and then us doing Seattle this year. It does seem like we're swinging west a little bit, but they haven't given us a heads up on what or if the future West Coast departures will be. I do hope that we add some South Pacific or maybe even California.
Okay, perfect. Little bit about status match. There might have been some confusion there. So
Yeah.
basically, once you do your I'm going to talk about my experience. I did status match. It is a pretty easy process for me, but we do help people here. In fact, we have a great assistant named Betsy who does it for people all the time. But I status matched to Diamond. It's very fortunate to status match to Diamond. That meant on my first MSC cruise, I had all the Diamond perks, which
Yeah.
I loved. Because I actually got a night of specialty dining and I did go to the hibachi restaurant, which was fantastic. I am still diamond. So the reason, once you become diamond, they don't take it away from you. You stay
Mhm.
diamond. I'm still diamond to this day because I do take an MSC cruise. I'm going to be honest, not every year, but as long as you cruise, what was it, Cassidy, every 3 years?
Once every 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
So as long as I don't go 5 straight years without missing a cruise, I stay diamond, and I have not done that. So I've been diamond on MSC now for probably, oh my word, 13 years or so I've been diamond.
Wow.
So they definitely don't take it away from you. And you can cruise 6 times a year or once every 5 years and
Yeah.
still keep that status, just to kind of clear that one up. Addition, some questions about the ports, about getting on and off the ports, which I mentioned I did. So obviously there are rules there. They do let you know which ports you can get on. Like on a 7 night cruise, there could be maybe even up to four different ports that you could get on, and then you would get off with your corresponding port. So like for example, we went round trip Marseille. So yes, you can do it. It's very pretty clearly spelled out, but we can help you as well to let you know where and you can disembark and where you can embark, of course. But the nice thing about it is you can get on places like Malta. Genoa, Marseille, like no, where your typical cruise ships are not embarking and debarking. Then we have a question about Halifax. This person says that they see this season in April. It's offered as an embarkation port. She's wondering if that's something you're going to continue with.
Yes, if you keep booking, yes, I hope so as well. Right now it is just seasonal for us, but obviously the more demand that there is, the more of a strong selling point it is for us to add more ships and to keep ships there longer. So right now it's only seasonal, but I do hope that we can stay there longer.
Great. And then about the World America, I mean, obviously, the World Atlantic and the World, I think you said Asia, please correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
They are sister ships. Is that correct? Or are they
they are.
making, they are.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
if you've been on the World America and you love the World America, these ships are going to be extremely similar. There's
correct.
sometimes small, I'm guessing, cosmetic changes, but they're kind of asking if there's going to be any major overhaul.
Um, no major overhaul, but both of them, or the three of them, do kind of pay homage, if you will, to their name. So World America has different spaces that are more American in feature, but then World Asia, some of the decor that we've seen, like there's going to be a hundred and something foot Asian dragon that is the air. Some of the dining speaks to different Asian countries. The World Atlantic, they haven't told us a lot yet about the decor, but to Julie's point, the size and overall feel will be very similar in layout to World America.
Right. It's exciting. That was one of the things I was talking about with Cassidy is a lot of times when we have other brands do ships, they stay in America first, sometimes go to Europe a few years later. But for you guys, I mean, you could go on a brand new ship in Europe because you have such a diverse fleet over there. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody knows this, but MSC is the number one cruise line in Europe. So it's gives you a lot of choices. Perfect. I think that's the questions.
Yep. Nice.
Great. So I didn't know, Cassidy, if you were going to do a game.
Yes, I would like to do a game. So we have a quick trivia that we want to play. Um, I, does everyone have? Yeah, I do see you guys in the chat. Oh, Yacht Club is amazing. I love the Yacht Club. Okay, so the trivia, you need access to the chat, and I am going to ask a few different questions based on things that I talked about in today's webinar. And the person whose answer I see first, stick around or make sure you give me your email address because we need to contact you because I'll send you an MSC Collector's Edition prize. The first one is this is a world-class ship that is going to be sailing from the Mediterranean, brand new this year. What is the, okay. Wow, David S. Quick
That
to
was
the draw.
impressive. Woo, that was
David,
impressive.
okay. David, make sure we get your email address. I'm gonna make sure that World Asia was the correct answer there.
Yeah, David, if you don't want everybody to see your email address in the chat, just go ahead and put it in the Q&A box and we can get it from there so that everybody doesn't have your email.
Yes. Question number two. So this is a dining venue on board. It is an American style steakhouse. What is the name of the steakhouse? Karen Farrell, Butcher's Cut. Good job. You got it. Karen Butcher's Cut is the correct answer. So we got David and Karen on the board. Okay, and the very last one is the status match program remains active as long as you take an MSC cruise. How often? I think I'm giving you guys two easy ones. Okay, so let's see. Who was the first? You guys for listening. Mike Lawrence, 5 years, you got it. So David, Karen, and Mike Lawrence, you're today's winners. I will get with Julie and team so that I get your address to send you some MSC swag. The only caveat is you got to use that swag soon on an MSC ship. Thank you
Perfect.
guys for joining today.
Yeah, thanks so much, Cassidy. And please, for the other two winners, please type your email addresses in the Q&A box before you leave. So David, great job. I see yours already. So if you could, the other two could put yours in, that'd be great. And of course, we're always happy to help you plan your cruises here at createyourcruises.com. And if you want to have specific questions about what it's like to travel on MSC in Europe, I am happy to answer those if you contact us over there. But it was a great experience, I have to tell you. It was such a great experience that we did it one year and went right back and did it again. So we definitely enjoyed our time. Thanks so much, Cassidy. We really appreciate it.
No problem. Hey, I just wanted to add, now is a great time to book European sailings because we have a great promotion called the Epic Europe Sale. And it is up to $600 off of different European itineraries. And Julie and team have access to that. So definitely reach out to them to find out pricing for some of those itineraries. It's a great offer.
All right, perfect. We have all the emails, so we're all good. So thank you everybody for joining us. Thank you, Cassidy, for joining us. We always
Thank
love to
you.
learn more about MSC and all the great things you're doing. And we look forward to welcoming you to another webinar.